Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Dynamics and Office 365 Tips and Tricks webinar for September. Today we're going to be going over the following 3 tips. First, we'll discuss why dashboards are so useful and how you can use them to access multiple entities at the same time. So as you can see, we've got accounts, contacts, and leads all on the same screen, which I think is really useful. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll go over how to resize one of these components on a dashboard. We can increase or decrease the height and the width, but it's a little tricky to find, so we will go over that as well. And then finally, we're going to talk about Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to show you a new feature they just recently added that allows you to see kind of a panel that pops out about general information about a team. So recent updates, who's on the team, who's in the channel, what team the channel is part of. So we'll go over that as well. All right, so let's get started with the dashboard. As I mentioned, I think that this is a really neat feature in Dynamics. It's been around for forever, but I do think it deserves a little spotlight. So as you can see, we've got 3 views here from totally separate entities. And normally you wouldn't be able to access different entities in a single screen or even paging through different views on a page. Those all have to be within the same entity. But using a dashboard, we can kind of get around that and access 3 different views or charts or what have you, and have them all be from separate entities. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and we're going to just start off by creating a new personal dashboard. You can pick the layout. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this top leftmost 3-column regular dashboard, and that's going to open up the dashboard editor. We'll give this a name, Megan's Test Dashboard. And down here, we've got different icons of things we can add. I'll just hover over these so you can see. We can insert a chart, insert a list, which is also a view, insert an assistant, so like a relationship assistant, for example. This is for iframes. And this is for web resources. So if you have a web resource linking to a different web page or something, you could add that here. But I'm going to stick with views for this example. And I'm going to go under accounts and just include active sample accounts. And you can double click this and open up the, the component properties. And you can rename it, display a different name and panel color. And then you can decide what views you want to have available in this dashboard. I'm just going to leave all of this stuff as is. And click the same icon again. And you'll notice that we have the same drop down, so we can choose any entity we want, which is really neat. We can pick leads, and we can choose from any of these system views. All leads. And if I go over to this 3rd component, we can do the same thing. And in fact, I'm going to move that over and do the same thing and use this for contacts. And we'll just say my active contacts. And we just need to click save up here in the top left and close. And it's going to open up this dashboard. And it'll kind of resize things. As you can see, I had 3 different columns for my components, but it just resized it to the 2 you know, there's no empty space in between, there's no spacer in between these two views, which is totally fine. But let's say I want to resize these even further, which leads me to my next my next tip. But to reiterate, this is really great for people that have workflows that lead them in different to different views on a regular basis. So if you need to frequently access, you know, your accounts and your contacts, and you're going back and forth in between the two, this is a really great way to save some clicks and be able to kind of reference these things simultaneously. Okay, great. So we're going to go back and edit this dashboard, and we're just going to click edit, and it's going to open up the dashboard editor. And you'll notice, even though when we open it up, you know, in the actual system, the real deal, this spacer is not there. It is preserved when we go back in. So let's say I want to expand this or resize this component, this accounts view. We can go ahead and increase the width, which will push this into the other column. And let's say we need to decrease the height. We have an option to do that as well. And all you need to do is select the component that you're working with. A black border is going to end up around it. And then we're going to click the dot, dot, dot here. And then you can either increase width or decrease width or height as necessary. And at some point you'll max this out or minimize this out, and you won't have the option to do you know, one of these things depending on how big it is. But just to show you what this looks like, increase the height of this just to show some variety. Okay, great. So we're going to click save again and close this up and give this a refresh. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes for the dashboards to resize, but looks like this worked. So as you can see, now we've got some very different sized views here in our dashboard. All right, so moving on to Microsoft Teams, our last tip. I'm going to open this up and we'll go over to our Teams and our channel. And all you have to do to check out the new About Channel page is select this little channel info button. It's an eye with a circle around it. So if you just select this, you'll be able to see the different members included on the channel. You can click this to see the full list, which brings you to the members of the team. Go back to channel and select this. And then you can also see any recent updates, which is really neat. If you select updates, it'll give you an even more detailed and lengthy list. I don't have too much going on in this test channel, so you're not going to see too much here, but that is available for you. So again, all you need to do is just navigate to a channel and select this little icon, which is an eye with a circle around it, and it'll expand that panel. Selecting it again will minimize that panel. All right, so that is about it for us today. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at megan@marksgroup.net. And once again, just to quickly summarize, we talked about dashboards and why it's useful to have them because they can access different entities all in one screen. We can resize dashboard components really easily, but it's not exactly where you would expect just by selecting the component and then going to that dot, dot, dot or more menu, and then selecting increase or decrease height or width as needed. And then finally, we moved over to Microsoft Teams and we looked at the channel info tab or panel that expands here when you select this icon. All right, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys next time.